Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to No BS Ted. I'm the Ted part. This is Ryan from No Border Sports. He's the No BS part. Like I said, together we make No BS Ted. Coming to you live on Tuesday, the 23rd of July. First day of veterans reporting to training camp. And I guess a week into rookie mini camp or training camp start for rookies a week ago on the 16th. So, Ryan, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday?
Man, I'm doing good. Only thing is I thought we were going to have good weather today, so I turned off all the fans and such in my room, and I thought everything would be fine. I come back and the room's hot. Gee, Merry Christmas.
Man, a rare day in the Pacific Northwest. A rare hot day.
No, it's been hot. It's been hot. I've been leaving them on, so I kind of wanted to give them a break, and I was like, oh, we'll let them chill. You know, it ain't going to get bad. It's barely get out of the 60s. And now all of a sudden, I don't know what the temp is right now, but it's not in the 60s.
Shoo, sorry to hear that. But you would never know from looking at you, so that's the good news.
Oh, we're good. I'm chilling in shorts. I got off the work pants right now, so we're good. I got a fan blowing on the back of me. I got a fan in the front. We're good, bro.
Dual fan action. Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. Right on. Well, let's say hi to the chat. We got Red Jet Shell in the house.
What up, Red Jet?
What's good?
I was watching her I was watching Terra Dome earlier this morning, and she's always in the chat there. And you can catch her on Thursdays on Terra Dome show. Starts at like 7 o'clock Pacific.
Pretty early.
Tuesday and Thursday. So check them out. They usually go to like 9. So you got a swath of period where you can check them out.
Nice. Love it. So yeah, we're better now that you're here, Shell. So thanks for being here. So like and subscribe to both channels. That reminds me I need to turn it on both channels. And like Ryan's, of course. But yeah, if you guys are watching on a browser, open up 2 tabs. Watch us both at the same time. It really helps us to get those view hours, get those likes, get those subscribes. It all adds up, and it all is quite helpful at the end of the day. So I guess the big news of the day is that Brandon Aiyuk is in camp. I mean, he's holed in, so he won't be practicing, but he'll at least be on the sideline, be part of the atmosphere. He's there, which, you know, I'm going to say it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, I said all along, I think he wants to be a Niner. I think the Niners want to sign him. I think that's why I haven't really dived too much into the whole Brandon Aiyuk thing, because I just think it's more smoke than anything else. And I think this is just more evidence that he really wants to be a 49er. He's not holding out like some players are. He's holding in. I mean, it's not a great sign, but it's a good sign, I would say.
I wouldn't take this as either or, because we know he likes working out at the facility, because he stated that. And he's not getting fined. So to me, you could be right, but at the same time, money and comfortability, you know, being used to certain things, I think that wins out overall in this situation.
You know, that certainly makes sense, and that certainly is what's happening. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But for now, he's there with all his buddies. And yeah, Shell's you got Jimmy in the house. Says, "What's up, Ted and Ryan?"
What up, Jimmy? Appreciate you.
Shell confirmed 7 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oh, she says she's Thursday.
Yep, she's on Thursday, but he goes live Tuesday and Thursdays at 7.
There we go. Right
but
on.
she's there whether she's on or not. Like, she is in the chat holding it down. So if you want to see what Red Jet's up to on Thursdays and Tuesdays, you just go over to Terra Dome's show, and she'll be in there, and you can talk to her. Just saying. She's the cheerleader of the whole 49ers content community crew. So
she's amazing, no doubt about it. Got David McNiner in the house. He says, "What's good, Ted? LFG 49ers. Let's effing go." Thanks, David. So what else we got? There's really not a whole lot of other stuff today other than notable holdouts. I saw that Hassan Reddick for the Jets is holding out. And
Doesn't mean shit. Not for us, really. Our
well,
team.
if he holds out into week 1, it is because we play the Jets week 1. So
yeah, I guess that. To me, like, we got Leonard Floyd. We don't need another edge. Like, some people are speculating 49ers, go get him. No, that's stupid. We got an edge already in Leonard Floyd, who really isn't that great in the run game, which Hassan Reddick, not saying he can't be or this or that, but we've seen how he plays. He just pins his ears back and goes to the quarterback. And we already got a guy like that. So we don't need another. You know,
Shell's correcting. She says, "Wow, not the cheerleader." Ha ha ha. Thanks, Ryan. Looks like we may have misspoken there. We just meant that you're very supportive, Shell. You're great.
Yeah.
Of everyone's efforts.
Now the cheerleaders, when I was a wrestler, those ladies, not only after you got done wrestling, they gave you half an orange, but if you pinned somebody, they would get you like one of them baby safety pins ones with the plastic and the little, characters at the end of it. And that's what represented you pinning somebody. And when you went to tournaments, those ladies would make us sandwiches. So like they were cheerleaders, but also they were like, they took care of us and we took care of them. Some guy talked about one of their appearance, and the whole wrestling team went over and talked to him about speaking more kindly of our cheerleaders.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. It's funny. I think as a different generation, even before me, as maybe my parents' generation, when you pin somebody, it was sort of like you were going steady with them. Way back in the day. It must have been like the 50s and 60s.
Yep. There was a class pin. There's also class rings that you would what's that one song? It's My Birthday, I Cry If I Want To. And she's stating that she's, going to pieces because Judy's wearing his ring, aka, which if you didn't have the ring on your finger, why are you tripping, yo? Like, if he had to ask you for that ring back, you already knew what was going on, right? I don't get it. And if you didn't have it in the first place, why are you all upset over it? You just,
Ryan's saying, "Buck up, darling."
Look, if you didn't have the ring in the first place, how are you gonna get mad? It doesn't seem like it was yours to get all upset over. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Just saying.
Michelle says No Days Off features both of us on her Insta account.
Oh, that's right. I didn't get to see. I heard that whole thing play. I love the music that you paired with. I know that's Terradome said that's one of his, Take 5 or whatever it is. That's a great one. But yeah, I didn't get to see it because I was listening in at work. Sometimes I can't be watching.
And then she said, "No, that's what I meant. I appreciate you both sincerely." Well, we appreciate you too, Shell. Absolutely. Our Niner community is a wild one, but tight knit and love indeed.
So there are some things to talk about. It looks like the backup position is between Allen and Dobbs at the moment. They're not, what's his name?
Mordecai.
He's not even in the talk at the moment. But that doesn't.
Neither was Brock Purdy at this point.
No, but they in a week from now, they knew he was the best quarterback. Right?
Yeah, wasn't that soon? I thought there was like a bunch of preseason games where he was last, and I thought it just really took.
I remember Kyle saying a couple days in a camp, he already knew that that Brock was the one, and he went to Jed at that point. So look, let's just say a week or two from now is when Kyle knew that Brock was the one.
Well, how many times are we going to hear this is the second coming of Brock Purdy when some average arm guy gets picked or signed as an undrafted free agent? It's going to happen ad infinitum again and again and again. And there probably will never be another Brock Purdy. So that's the thing to remember. Or at least not for a very, very long time. It took a long time for it to happen in the first place. So,
one thing that everybody has been talking about that we haven't spoken on yet, that just kind of came out, was the news that Brock Purdy didn't stop his rehab until around Thanksgiving.
wow.
Yeah. Not to say that he was injured that whole time. It just he was doing his rehab alongside everything else. So right now, think about how much better he can get better in this camp without having to, first thing, take every third or fourth day off. And then also not having to worry about doing rehab and actually just use that time to take care of what he thinks will make him better. Oh, I got James in the house.
James Durnall.
And he didn't miss us with the damn sexy bunch of spud-faced cabbage lickers. Finally.
Yeah, but he added a GD to it. A goddamned.
Oh, yeah. I just, it's not a show without him.
No, absolutely not. James, the news is there is no news.
No, there is what else was said in the, because they just had a
presser. Oh, Kyle shaved his mustache, you told me.
Kyle shaved his mustache. He shaved it yesterday because he knew the media was going to ask him about it. So it's like, well, why'd you have to shave it yesterday? Because they still asked you about it today when you didn't have it on your face. So his wife liked it. He said, I kept it because my wife liked it. Well, look, you just made your wife not think you were that attractive as much anymore. For what? To try and dodge a question that you got anyway? Come on, Kyle.
How does Kyle expect to become Andy Reid 2.0 without the Andy Reid stash, man?
Right?
I don't get it.
A good womb broom can do a lot for a man. Did you get that? Did you get that?
Shell says, yeah, the song is Take 5 by Dave Brubeck.
Yep.
On No Days Off.
Did you get that womb broom joke?
Womb broom. That'd be a neat trick to get your mustache to reach the womb. That's all.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Kyle's wife might have liked it for reasons other than the appearance.
Well, she thought he was more handsome. Okay, let me tell you this, Jim. Unless it's really annoying. If your woman finds you more attractive with a mustache, just keep the mustache. Who cares about anybody else? As long as the missus thinks you're number one, you're good to go. Screw him. That's all I had to hear. Hey, Kyle, why were you trying to do your best impersonation of a 70s porn star? Because my wife thinks it's attractive. Okay, cool. You're not trying to act like one. You're not this and that. Your wife just saw that on you and was like, yep, that's handsome. And he was like, okay, I could deal with that.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah.
McNiner says Tanner Mordecai is greater than Brandon Allen. I mean, everybody's greater than Brandon Allen, in my opinion. He was dog water last camp. So I hope Tanner Mordecai at least beats him out. What position groups are you fellas most interested in? Well, you want to go first?
I think they all matter. I'm really looking to see if Pooney can take over at guard and leave Feliciano to plug holes.
That would be nice. The way Brunskill used to be the ultimate fifth man.
Yeah.
Play all 5 positions. I like that.
I also kind of
my turn. I get to pick one now.
I wasn't picking a position group, but
my position. What did you pick guard? My position that I'm most interested in is linebacker. I want to see how Devondre Campbell does.
That is a big question. I was in a room talking with some Green Bay Packers fans. They were talking some shit. I had to go in there and regulate. We were in one of them spaces, and we started talking, and they just kind of were just asking me questions about our team. And I was being honest, and they asked me about him, what I thought about him. And I explained, hey, when he first came over, he was like, the the Packers, they're doing this and this. They weren't using me to my my best abilities. And then turns out he sent that text like 2 years beforehand when he left to wherever he was and going to the Packers. So it seemed like he was saying the same stuff. So I have no idea what's going on with him. So yes, that's a big deal. Who's going to fill that role? What up, and show 49ers
Sean,
media. Go check him out.
Says he wants to see Jacob Cowling.
Oh yeah.
James Durnall says O-line like you. Did you pick next after O-line? You said O-line, I said linebacker. What you got next, right?
What I wanted to say about O-line next was that you cut me off from was that I don't think they're going to be trying to draft high for right tackle or pay somebody like a free agent in right tackle. I think they're going to look to do this McKivitz thing regularly. And the only one they're going to pay money on is the left tackle. And I see them either drafting high or a free agent move, probably more likely free agent move, because I don't see them wanting to risk. I see them wanting to know and at least just pay. No, they're paying for what they're getting, right? Instead of, gambling, taking a crapshoot, drafted 3 or 4 players, drafted 2 or 3 players. I think they'd rather pay for it and know they're getting it. So I have a feeling, I think the next coveted spot is going to be center after this point.
Nothing would make me happier. I think maybe they don't trust their drafting abilities because, let's face it, their best draft pick is Mike McGlinchey, and we used a number 9 overall on him.
Their drafting abilities. They don't draft. They really don't draft early for offensive line. We heard Forrester talk about it. Forrester talked about how he just likes to, get somebody who touches the ball. Get somebody who touches the ball. Oh, it's the 5th round? Yeah, let's get somebody nobody heard of. That's his drafting style. That's his MO.
All right, which position group are you going with next for position group of interest?
The cornerbacks. Oh, the back end, but mainly the cornerbacks and how they're going to move around with
Renardo Green.
Well, Renardo Green, but just the free agents we brought in. Those guys are good too.
So Isaac Yiadom from the Saints.
And Gross Matos, right?
Well, Gross Matos is the
DN. Sorry.
DN.
What am I thinking? There's another guy in the secondary.
Yeah.
Rakim Sim.
Yassine. Yeah. He's pretty decent.
We'll see what goes on there. But I think just what's going on between the 2 vets that we brought into our secondary. That's going to be something interesting to look at. How are they going to use Demo? Is he going to move inside when they come into nickel? Is he going to stay outside? So that's going to be interesting. Also, like the draft, we went kind of deep. We kind of got ourselves some depth and some talented depth, I would say, in the draft. And to see that come to fruition would be awesome. So that's kind of why I'm looking there, mainly to the corners, but the whole back end is really something I want to pay attention to this year.
When you said corner, I'll stay in the back end. I'll go safety just because, Hufanga coming off the ACL. Jair Brown, does he regress in his second year as a safety? And then obviously Malik Mustafa, guys rocked up. See if he can play as well as he looks flexing.
I want to see him decimate people. No lie. I want to see people like go lifeless for a second and then like do one of these, you know what I mean? Then like, try maybe takes a couple of swings to the air. You know what I mean? I don't know if you ever seen a boxer get knocked out, but sometimes they like to put their hands up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he can deliver those, and I just want people to test him, and I just want him to get good enough so he can be out there making those plays on people. Because when you have to think about how you're going to catch this ball, but you're also thinking about what's going to happen the moment you do, or the ball comes into your general vicinity, because I could still hit you whether you caught the ball or not. If it's bang, bang, the ball comes in, bang, bang. I don't know whether you've got the ball or not. I'm just hitting you. You know what I mean? That's legal. So you might have to pay for it and not even get it. You know what I'm saying? So I love that in the back of people's minds. My favorite 49er is Ronnie Lott. So like, and that's the reason. Not really. It was because he gave a part of his body for us. But you know, like he put that in the back of people's minds constantly. He was the toughest, orneriest thing when I was growing up. People were just like, "Oh yeah, you just don't want to see Ronnie Lott in the back alley because he's gonna mess you up."
He's the hardest hitter ever. Let's just say it. He is.
I don't know. There's Jack Tatum. There's a lot of safeties out there that did good stuff. I just know that he was like, you know how Joe Montana, you know, there was that quote. I think it was from the Bengals. The Bengals defense thinking, oh shit, there's Joe Montana. Like they knew that Joe Montana coming out of the field was going to run down. He was going to bring the team down the field and score, and the game was going to be over. Ronnie Lott was the same thing, just on the defense. People were like, oh shit. He changed the way certain things went in games. He wasn't as like monumental as Lawrence Taylor, who changed football altogether, but he changed the way teams played the 49ers. Their schemes switched when your offensive scheme switched when you were coming here, because you were going to have people left if you kept trying it over the middle. You know what I mean?
They're in the same conversation, but LT is all time for sure.
Yeah, he's like head and shoulders
greatest defender ever.
It's
you could say.
The things he did, it was just amazing.
All right, so which position group you going with next?
Let's go with I like Anshul's thoughts on tight end. So what are our new guys going to look like? We got Latu, Braden Willis. I think he's Kyle Juszczyk's replacement. So I don't see him being in that role. And then we got, what's his name? The basketball player that they've been spending every living moment trying
P-line?
P-line, yes. Yeah. That's what I'm interested in. How is Latu going to progress from last year? Because we saw a glimpse of good stuff right before he got injured. So I don't want to play like all he's done is just be bad. When in the beginning, he had some fucked ups. This is year 2. You know what I mean? Let's see how he comes back from this. So if he can get things out of his head and do some great stuff, I'm happy to have the guy here. We'll see, because he's a big body. He's got some determination in him. And if he can go through last season and kind of be in his head and all that stuff and be able to put that beside him and grow off of it, we might have a guy worth keeping. Because that's a big thing, is when you figure out, and when you think you're shit, or you believe everybody else when they think you're shit, to get out of that is big. So I'm kind of interested about the tight end group.
You forgot Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
You're not real high on him, obviously.
We'll see.
I think he's tight end 2 as of right now.
Yeah. Well, we know he's tight end 2 as of right now. I just
don't think it'll last.
I don't know. I don't know what capacity we'll see him as. Look, you've got Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Brandon Aiyuk. Well, tentatively Brandon Aiyuk, George Kittle, Jawan Jennings. You've got, and then you're going to bring him in there. That's 7. There's a lot to go around. I don't know how much. I think there's games he'll be used more so than others, because maybe they're going to try and do a 22 personnel and try and really, I don't know, get at him with a certain type of scheme that way. I just don't know how much he's going to. I'm more interested about our guys that are going to be coming up in the next couple of years, because I don't know how much Logan's going to be here, right? And I don't know how much he's going to get used as he's here. There might be certain games, but I don't see like it's every game. It's Kittle and Logan going for hundreds of yards, each get 100 yards. It's nothing like that. You can't do that with everybody else on the team. So what is it going to be like? I think it helps open up other people. I think when you can go into 22 personnel and get some big linebackers out there and then split everybody out, I think that's going to be nasty. But I don't think we're going to be in that 24/7 because then people will just switch their schemes up. So I don't know. We'll see. We've been
sad fact. If BA gets traded, we'll have 2 first-round draft picks, the most team under the Kyle era, and one as a rookie. Bad rap in the last 9 years.
I think they should just move out of the first round with their draft capital and use it to get further drafts down, more picks further on in the draft. I also think moving it and trading it for somebody's first round pick the next year is also good. I like that, just because then you can essentially have 2 first rounders, and then if you can, maybe you can push those back, and another you can have 3 first rounders, and then you can package first rounders up to get monumental players. You can use them all in the same year to make sure you get a winner. Like, imagine you need to get a corner, right? You got 2 first round picks. Okay, corner. One of those guys probably going to make it, right? Right. One of those guys probably going to make it. What if both of them makes it? You won't have to draft corner for a couple more years, huh? Yeah. So there's things that you can do. I'm saying.
I guess. I mean, that's kind of what the Eagles did this year. They took a corner in the first, and then they took a corner, I think it was in the second or third, when they took Cooper DeJean, however you pronounce his name. So Eagles definitely did it. So it's not as crazy as, I might have thought at first glance. Real quick, let's catch up a little bit. David Corona in the house saying what up.
What up, David Corona?
Anshul says Bosa got a stash. You know that. He's also saying Mason P-Line. Yeah, so we're pretty much caught up. As far as the first rounders go, I mean, obviously it didn't start out well when we had Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster in the first group of first round picks.
I don't think they had their identity yet as far as the 49ers upper management, the front office. I don't think they had their doctrine set in stone. I think what happened is I heard John Lynch talk about this, is that they figured out a couple years afterwards, like, what they were hitting on and what type of character was on these players that they were hitting on. And that's when they changed their whole outlook into looking for these high character individuals who are teammates, who not only are good players, because everybody in the draft essentially is good players. They're the top of the top in college. They're the best coming out. That's kind of why they're there, right? So look at the difference between the talent in a first round quarterback and a last pick quarterback. It can be the same, right? You know what I mean? You got Brock Purdy, who is the Mr. Irrelevant, and he was the starting quarterback over Sam Darnold, who was a first round draft pick. Was he first overall? Can't remember, but it might have been third or something like that. But if there's not much of a difference, well, not to say there's not much of a difference, but there could be no difference between a 7th rounder and a first rounder. It all depends on what that individual wants to do about it, what that individual can do about it. So I don't know why we're always so worried about this first round mentality and stuff like that, when it's we've seen the Niners get gems out of the end of the draft, and it's not just Brock Purdy, but that's just the most extreme thing. There's never been a quarterback that it was the last person picked in the draft and had that much success. Brings his team all the way, like gets injured and then comes out and is rehabbing till November and still gets his team to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Holy shit. That's big shit from Mr. Irrelevant. So let's just try and figure out how to get more draft capital, throw more darts at the wall.
I just think some of the concern is with Adam Peters leaving that maybe the late round effectiveness might drop a little bit with him being gone to.
I thought about that.
Commanders.
I thought about that, but guess who he was leaning on? He was leaning on the scouts to bring them those people, right? We still have the scouts that know the talented people. We still have the people in the front office who's like, oh yeah, you're right. So we might not be missing too much. Not to say that we, it's like he never left. I'm just saying, like, once I figure out how you do things, I might not be the best at copying what you're doing, but I know the process well enough to run it, right? It's not going to look 100% the same way, but and when you're talking about picking players, these guys are watching tape all the time. And it's not like, oh, this guy put his foot down here. It's not something like that they're really, it's what you see on tape versus what you see in the classroom and outside, right? That's who they're looking at. And it's not just on the tape, it's all the other stuff. How many times have we heard John Lynch talk about calling places to talk about players? Like, he's trying to call and ask about players to the point where they don't know he's asking about them. He's not trying to let them know. He's just trying to, hey, what's this guy? Is there any guys that you think are good? And he just keeps that and puts that away. So I think there's a lot of that going on with or without Peters there at this point, because I think you just kind of figure it out over time. I think Peters came in. Peters had time with Bill Belichick. So I think somebody was saying something, I was listening earlier, and they were talking about, well, Adam Peters knows the 49ers way. And I was like, I think the 49ers know the Bill Belichick way. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's what Peters brought in. He brought his knowledge from what his time with was Bill Belichick and all that. And I think between Bill Belichick's way and Kyle and John's ideas became the 49ers way. Now, who knows if God, what's his name? Peters. Who knows if Peters is going to do the same thing as the 49er way, or if he's going to go back to the Bill way, or if he's going to do Adam Peter way. So that'll be interesting, but we'll only know in a couple of years, I would say.
Just as long as our good late round drafting doesn't peter out. That's all I ask.
I got a button for that.
Thank you. You're all week, folks. Don't forget to tip your waiters. Your servers, I guess I should say. It's a better term these days.
There was something else, I think, out of we talked about the hamstring, right? The NFI.
No, we talked about it backstage.
Yeah. We should probably bring that up.
Yeah, well, real quick, let's talk about Jason, Captain Niners Smash.
I gotta hit you up on Twitter, Jason.
Hello, Faithful, and Shimon. He says he's driving and listening. All right, as long as you're not driving and watching, it's all good. We have two faces you probably won't miss. So.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got a face for radio.
You have a great voice too. Let's see here. So sorry. Okay. NFI list, hamstring, Ricky Pearsall.
Yes.
You also mentioned timetable.
Yes. So Ricky Pearsall starting camp at this moment on the NFI list. A shout out to Ted for reminding me what that was. I was like, it's the pup list where you did it at home and or away from thing. And he's like, oh, NFI. I was like, oh yeah. Good thing I'm working with the pros, right? So he's on the NFI list. Supposedly he's only going to miss the first 4 days of training camp. So I would call that week 1. They call it like stage 1 or something like that. They use some sort of term. They had to get that clarified later in the press conference, which I suggest you guys go back and listen to, because I believe there's something else that I'm forgetting about, because I wasn't able to like write it. I like to listen to these things and write it down as I go and pause and write it down. And usually it takes me like 3 hours to do an hour. But I get a lot more information that I can go back to, and I wasn't able to. But yeah, I think there's something else in there. I can't remember. We have Pearsall.
Now, Ryan says no big deal for practices, but I did point out he already missed probably 3 or 4 rookie practices, because today is the beginning of veterans training camp, but rookie training camp began 1 week ago today on July the 16th. So he missed all those, plus 4 more into veteran camp. So it's a little more than just 4.
And also, we didn't discuss this, but I thought this was a different injury than he had before in mandatory minicamp, because he was on it's not like he couldn't go. He was running around. They just had a no contact jersey on him. And if it's a hamstring, which is the reason why Ricky Pearsall is on the NFI list, I would think that the no contact jersey wouldn't be as useful as just having him on the sidelines, not running around, him stretching and like a slow jog or walking or something like that, but nothing like where he's exerting like almost full force on his hamstring, right? And so I'd like to hear what you guys think. Do you think this is 2 separate injuries? They did not disclose that as far as I know. But also the conference started before you get to see it. And they come in talking about injuries, which I believe is the first thing they usually talk about. So I don't think started talking about somebody's patella tendon. I can't remember who that is off the top of my head. And then they talked about Hufunga and who else? Greenlaw. And Greenlaw was Achilles, so it wasn't him. I just can't remember who they're talking about with the patella. Do you know who that could be?
I didn't hear anything about patella.
Yeah. It was like when the first thing, here, let me see.
Got Leon Sandcastle in the house.
patella could be that. Could that be Latu?
Oh, that would be a pretty serious knee injury. Yeah, that would make some sense. If he tore his patellar tendon. I think non-contact had more to do with his contract not being signed at that time. Oh, there's a good point.
What?
Rather than 2 injuries for Ricky Pearsall, which you were suggesting, Leon's just saying there was no injury. They were just making damn sure he didn't get injured when he hadn't been paid yet. I like that. I like Leon's hypothesis there.
But I thought there was an injury. I thought they said that he had, because, okay, if that were true, then when it was brought up, wouldn't they just say, hey, we're just trying to have him no contact because he hasn't signed his contract yet? Like there's no reason why you would want to lie and hide about that, right? But I believe they said it was about injury, because that's what I remember them asking about it. And I remember that's what I got from it. So I don't, unless I'm missing it, it doesn't make sense why they would call it one thing and then, because it's harmless, you know what I mean, to say that the no contact. It's not
otherwise we might have to start saying Ricky Pearsall's injury prone.
Well, That's what's so big about it too, is like we need to know what the real truth is, right?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, just I would rather know to make a better to have better understanding of what they're thinking of when they're making these moves. You know what I mean? Because if it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of Debo next year or after next year because we got Ricky, and it's like, well, if Ricky's always injured, like I know Debo's always injured, but Debo's putting in a man's day of work. You know what I'm saying? Like Debo earning those injuries. You know what I mean? He's definitely earning those injuries. It's not like he's out there shying from shit. So, like, if a durable ass guy like Debo is going to get broken all the time, well, what is Pearsall going to be when he's essentially asked to do some of that role? He's going to break down even quicker. That's my thought, at least.
It's important to know.
Shout out to Leon for your take. Appreciate it. And for coming on in. Stopping on by. We got breaking news.
We do?
Oh, I was asking you down at your phone. I thought we had breaking news.
No, someone breaking into my car. So I was just.
Oh, you got somebody breaking into your car?
My sister. And
oh.
So, sorry. It's just trying to see what in the world is going on.
No, I get that. I'd be doing.
No, I mean she's not breaking in. She asked me to open it for her, but it's distracting. So my apologies.
Oh no, you're good. Like I said, I thought we were breaking news. I thought we was breaking news.
That would be better than that.
Notice, hey, Tuesdays, man. Tuesdays is when the information comes out.
It's true. Nick Bosa's mustache.
Nick Bosa, well, not just. Well, BA hold in. This all like I was 2 hours ago. This wasn't a thing, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, now BA is going to show up, and then it was like, oh, he's there. Well, I don't think I've gotten confirmation that he's there yet, but I don't see why you wouldn't. If I can go there and just work out and not get fined $15,000, that's exactly what the hell I'm doing. Right?
Smart man.
Give me the money. All right. So, with camp coming up, give me 3 players you got your eyes on. Big time.
Devondre Campbell. Hufanga, I guess he probably won't be there yet. So I'll go with Malik Mustafa. And I'll go with Jacob Cowing, wide receiver.
Ricky Pearsall, Mustafa, and Latu. Even though Latu's not, I don't know if he's back all the way yet, but that's a big one to look at. We spent a lot of draft capital on him. Well, a 3rd round draft capital on him. And I'm interested to see, is he worth it? Plain and simple, is he worth it? So that's where I'm at there.
No doubt. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Logan Thomas would be my 4th tight end.
Okay. I'll do that same thing. Logan Thomas 4th. Because we could open up more offense to the point where you're like in the red zone. Now you gotta play against Logan Thomas and Kittle in the red zone, and CMC getting the check down. That could end up being nasty, but we got to be able to get down to the red zone consistently before that's a big threat. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it all plays out. Maybe on short yardage plays, it might be nasty. The route combos you can do off the line with the tight ends that we got, as far as Logan Thomas and Kittle. That might be something to look at. I don't know. We've been looking for this forever, and now that I supposedly we got it, or this and that. Jordan Reed, I was excited for Jordan Reed because Jordan Reed was a baller. He just couldn't stay healthy. Logan Thomas, I don't know if he's that much of a baller, but he could be. I don't know. We'll see. Jordan Reed was a baller.
No, he's not Jordan Reed. He's old, but he can catch, and I think he can block, and he's 6'6". He's a good red zone target. So, hey, real quick, Bashar and Hizzle, what's up, man?
What up, my man?
I think he's just off the disabled list after having COVID. So, welcome back, Bash. Hope you're feeling 100%. Hopefully, it's not long COVID.
Oh, there's a poor lady I know. YouTube, well, not that I know, but I watched her videos on YouTube for a while. Her name is Physics Girl. That's her YouTube channel. She got the long COVID, and she doesn't even put out videos anymore, except for like her daily. And it's poor thing's bedridden.
Ugh, awful to hear.
Yeah.
Says in the Hizzle.
Oh, shizzle.
Jordan Reed was such a tease for us. Yeah. He was injured most of the season, and when he wasn't, Kittle was injured. So we never. I mean, I think they played together for.
Dude, he came out. He came out. It was like got two tutties, I think it was, and then gone. And it was like, oh, it was so. It looked sexy. It looked sexy out there.
Yeah.
But Logan Thomas isn't Jordan Reed. That's what I'm saying. If it was somebody who could do something like Jordan Reed, that would just be nasty.
Well, hopefully he can block a little better than Jordan Reed, because Jordan Reed was not a blocker.
Yeah.
Leon says, I see some cheap motion in Cowing's future this year.
It's cheap motion in anybody's future that's like any halfway decently fast. I see that being. Did you know that we started the cheap motion?
I thought it was Mike McDaniel.
It was actually Kyle Juszczyk. So Kyle Juszczyk wasn't able to get set, but since he was in motion and people weren't, what is it? I can't remember the difference of the names. When you go in motion, when one man's going in motion, you can go. You obviously can hike the ball while they're in motion, but if you move multiple people around, everybody has to get set within a second before you hike the ball. Anyway. So there was one play where he just went outside of the receiver, and it caused trouble. It caused trouble because he never got set. So the defensive players weren't able to make their adjustment. And even though the ball wasn't able to get to him, Mike McDaniel saw that and was like, oh, hey, look at the pickle it puts people in. But essentially, we're the ones who created it.
Never knew that. They give all the credit to Mike McDaniel, and when he was with the Dolphins.
He's the one who specifically installed these plays came up with these plays
on purpose
to take advantage of it. Yes, but actual first ever cheap motion play is a 49er play.
Accidental, even.
Yeah. Couldn't wait for him to get set. Had to snap the ball. I can't remember who. I think it was Purdy. I think it was Purdy.
Bash, don't say that here. Ryan is big on Cameron Latu.
I don't know. What did we see last year? We saw a whole bunch of bad, sliver of good, and then he was off for the season. So we can't just go, oh, he's shit, because we saw improvement for a half a second. We don't know if that was a glimpse and the rest of it's going to be shit. We got to figure it out. We can't call somebody a bust in less than 3 years, really, in the NFL. And he's got 3 months in the NFL, right? He's really had 3 months of productive work in the NFL, or not productive work, but actual work in the NFL before he's been sidelined for a year. So we'll see. I don't have any skin in the game here. I'm just interested to see, because I think he could be nasty if he pays off. Maybe. Yeah, everybody's so mad about that, which I get.
Cleveland Browns got him.
Yeah.
And he stonewalled Nick Bosa when we played them. That's about all I know about Daylon Jones.
Yeah.
I know he's not much of a run blocker also, but maybe he'll develop that.
We're not even going in that way direction anymore. I think they're doing what smart is, and they're drafting pass blockers, and then those teach them how to run block. Run blocking is the easiest part of football, essentially. It's you have
to have the athleticism, though.
It's easier physically, I guess, but kind of mentally, it's tougher because you got to figure out while people are moving, who's your guy. You know what I mean? So and also you got to figure out your depth when you're pulling. If you're a little too deep, you're going to be taking yourself out of the play. If you're a little too close, you're going to be tripping over and you're going to take two people out of the play. So, and they're probably not both. They're not. One of them probably isn't going to be the defensive player, and the other one is you. You know what I mean? So you probably got two offensive linemen. You're out of the game at the point. So, yeah.
Leon wants to remind us that Cowing had better acceleration than Xavier Worthy, who the Chiefs took best in the class. Cowing. I just wish Cowing had better hands, but you're not going to get him that late if he's got speed, hands, route running, everything. So
I think we did a good job on drafting wide receiver. I think Pearsall was probably the best move at the end. Best move for wide receiver at the end of the first round there. No matter what anybody says, I think it was the best move. I watched CJ Stroud get all upset once he found out Pearsall was off the table. Like almost wanted to get emotional because I think he knew what kind of a guy that was, and he feels it's gonna, whether it happens or not. I thought that was a good pick. And then when I seen Cowing, I was like, oh, this guy's a gamer. You know what I mean? Like he looks like one of those guys on the video game. You know, when you're getting smoked and they're doing everything. You're doing everything you can against them, and they're just throwing the ball on you and just running into the end zone over and over again. He seems just like one of the players on the game. So I'm kind of excited. Kyle's scheme, this and that. I don't even know if Kyle knows what supposedly is the best for himself at certain times. Because they do all these questionable picks.
And like Brock Purdy's kind of changed the emphasis too, hasn't he? I mean, Purdy's put us to be more pass blocking focused, at least with Pooney and
see, I like the Pooney pick. I like that pick. I like him. We'll see how he turns out, but I like that guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Said True Stroud was huge on Pearsall.
Yeah. I would like to see them. Look, we draft enough guards. Okay. I need you to draft tackles. If you don't want to pay for a good right tackle because you're going to feel like you need to pay all that big money for a proven left tackle, fine. But let's draft a tackle every year when you're always drafting two guards. Let's draft a tackle and a guard each year. You could draft them in anywhere between the 3rd and the 5th round. Okay. I won't even make you use a high pick on them because I know you're not trying to do that. But please, every year, give me a tackle. Just so we got something coming up. So guess what? Also, if you get a tackle every year, you got a guy on the books who's good, don't want to pay him. All right. Well, you draft a tackle each year. You got his replacement in the wings, right? Hopefully. Let that guy have the keys. I don't understand why they don't do it more like that, but because they want to be cheap at the line. Okay, so draft tackle every year like you draft guard.
I agree. I wanted to tackle the last 2 years. So, yeah.
You just
I
got to
think
get
you do.
one. They don't have to be like taking somebody's spot right now. What you want them to do is you want to get them to get their off NFL body. That's 2 years. That's 2 years in the weight room. Okay. NFL body, learn your scheme. Next thing you know, you can say goodbye to somebody else because remember, you guys are smarter than everybody else. All you need is somebody who knows your scheme, right? Okay. So draft somebody cheap as a tackle, not a guard that's not a tackle that can move to guard, but an actual fucking tackle. And then let him sit in your system, getting his muscle up and learning your whole system for 2 years, and then let him take over from a Kivitz who wants an extension. And then that guy's got what? Let's see, 2 years left on his deal at that point. Oh, let's see. We're drafting more, right? So the guy you draft that year could be his replacement in what, 2 years?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bash says Larry Krueger is high on Michigan center Blake Nugent. I would just say Bash, Larry Krueger was high on Spencer Wagey last year. How'd that go?
Also, well, he's a starting center for the national champions. So there's that. I don't know if this is anything, but Blake Nugent's father is a friend of Forrester's. And that's how he knows about him. Kind of, I guess. So I don't know. He might be a Nepo hire. This might be a Nepo hire. This also might be a guy who's totally worth actually getting drafted. It's a coin flip until we figure this out. I smell the Nepo. I smell the nepotism all over this. But at the same time, like, you don't become a national champion with a shitty center. Not to say that he's great or amazing, but you don't get there with a shitty ass center, So not that he's calling protections or anything like that, but that's the middle of the line. That's the shortest paths to the quarterback. When it comes to fundamentals, I think he's probably okay.
How often did Michigan pass the ball, Ryan?
I don't know.
Not very.
Yeah.
Not very.
But I don't know. Who knows?
The knock on JJ McCarthy, their quarterback, was very few pass attempts.
Well, but also
they had a really good line. He was one of the better linemen. It's no doubt. He had great performance in college. It's just he's short and has short arms. So that's the knock at the pro level.
When Harbaugh was here, he wanted his quarterback to even be a rusher. So, like, is it
in Cap?
Yeah, you're talking about, like, I don't know what coach. Remember how they were complaining about Cap running the ball during practice when he should have been taking shots down the field to not only give his defense something to work towards, but also to test things out, and he wouldn't. I don't know any head coach that would pull him aside and be like, "Hey, look here, bro." You know what I mean? Like, I would be immediately stepping in. Hey, you can't. No, we're not taking it. I don't care. You can do that during the game. I know you got them skills. Cool, great. I need you to make sure that my wide receivers can catch the ball. I need you to make sure that my defense is playing you tough. You know what I mean? Like, I want everything firing on all cylinders. I don't want you just ad-libbing running down the field all the time throughout half the practice. It's not we're not getting the type of practicing we need. This is practice. You want to do that during the game? Cool. As long as you're putting up TDs and we're winning, I don't give two shits. But as long as we're in practice, you got to run these plays, and you got to run them. Nobody's going to tackle you. So why are you having to worry about getting flushed at the pocket? Stand in there like they're not even trying to sack you, other than you stepping up and then deliver your pass. That's what they should be doing. So practice.
Well, yeah, and then look what happened to Cap. So probably should have worked on that pocket presence a little bit better.
Bro. Well, I think the one thing they did wrong, though, is they tried to make him a straight pocket passer, which I don't think was correct at that point. first thing, it's what, 2 or 3 years into his NFL career, and you're now trying to change him? No, that never goes well. What you should have done is try to figure out certain situations where you could help him get better at it. And then slowly, once you see that he's able to execute those types of plays, you start putting those in more often. And then you involve them a little bit here and there. But I don't think you just go, oh, yep, you're a pocket passer now, because that's just not how it works. Like, some people got to get their feet moving before their head starts moving. I get that. I understand it. You know what I mean? Like, I can, my wheels turn better when my feet are moving for some reason. Do I need to be running for a first down? No, maybe I just need to be getting out of the pocket. You know what I mean? So I think there's certain ways to attack things, but I don't think people always look outside the box for, you know, ideas other than what immediately comes into their head or what they have done previously. You're muted.
It's natural. People get into their groove and I am?
Not anymore. Not anymore. You were for a second.
Weird.
Maybe it was delay or something. I don't know. I saw your mouth.
Yeah, I think it must have been a delay. I was just going to say, people get into their groove. They get used to doing things a certain way, and they kind of stick with it. Especially if it's having success and you're winning games, and it makes it even harder to get away from. But yeah, I would have clearly Cap was not cut out to be a pure pocket passer, but I would have liked to have seen him a little more pocket presence.
Like I said, you could work on certain things.
Yeah.
You can call bootlegs for him and this and that. And then on like first downs, when they think we're going to be running it, you can give him a pocket passing play where he might not get so much pressure to the point where he feels like he needs to break the pocket, and you spend more time going through progressions. That's how you start it. That's like how they should have done it with Trey. Fucking Kyle. That's how you should have done it with Trey, Kyle. Holy Jesus. Fucking Lamar Jackson ass fucking playbook. Oh. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb idiot.
Oh, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It makes sense. But it doesn't work, I guess, in the NFL because Kyle would have already done it. But I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I know. You got to get back to work. Thanks, Ryan, as always, for joining me.
What you got going on this week?
Thanks, everybody who tuned in. I've got McNiner tomorrow at 3:30. And then I don't know if Aaron and I are going to go Friday at 4 again. The training camp happens Friday, but I should be home by 4. So if Aaron wants to do that, we should be able to. And that's about it for me. What do you got going on this week?
I should have the rivalry, I think Friday or Saturday night, one of those two with Joe Stevens. He wanted to do like a Wednesday, and I was like, yeah, Wednesday hasn't been working well for us lately, bro. So let's do a Friday, Saturday. Dude, we tried to do a show one day, and he's like, hey, I'm going back to work right now. And I was like, oh shit, right? Call me tomorrow. And like, he had gotten, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours of sleep by the time I talked to him the next day. And I was like, don't worry about the show, bro. So I think if we start doing these on the weekends, he might be able to have a little more time, because I guess they don't call him as much on the weekends.
Makes sense.
The guys aren't running the machines on the weekends for the most part, so they're not there to break them.
Stands to reason.
Yep.
Sweet. Well, have a great rest of your week. I'll have some training camp updates next Tuesday. What's the date? Well, we can figure that out offline. But if I may be at camp, if there's actual camp practice next Tuesday. Let's see here. I can look it up pretty quickly.
That's cool. We might be able to do something where I give a rundown on news that was happening, and then we do a call into you.
Yeah, July 30th, we do have camp.
We could do a call into you to figure out what the live news from camp is. You know what I mean? That might be a cool way of doing things.
Yeah, I tried that last year, and it's I mean, I'm happy to talk after, but I'm not going to leave the stands to go do it again. That was.
Oh, you got to leave the stands?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Never mind then.
Yeah. So, and then and then you're like sitting outside waiting to go and then get done. And yeah, no, it's happy to talk before or after, but not during.
Okay. No problem.
So yeah, probably best just to take a break next week.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks everybody who tuned in. And we got Bebop Jones in the house.
What up, Bebop?
Bebop. All right, I'll just say peace and go Niners.
We out.